It's Friday. We made it to the weekend. I'm not so sure that the weekend is like a big deal anymore right now because a lot of us are just home every day and it seems like one day blends into another sometimes, but I still love Fridays. And this is holiday weekend, so maybe you have some extra special plans. And I'm going to be sending you into the weekend on a really high note. But first, I have like some housekeeping things. Yesterday was so weird. I got a few messages that people weren't notified about the video and whatever. I don't know. I don't know how Instagram works, but I had even noticed that the number of views dropped significantly. And I don't care about numbers because I know the people that are meant to be here will show up. But I'm saying like from 700 to 70, like, did I really say, maybe I said something wrong. I don't know. I don't believe that. I think it's just like some kind of weird algorithm. So if you're not hearing about the videos, just go up and turn on notifications. Hopefully that will work. But don't fret because they're there. They're in the regular posts, and if you go to that little icon that says IGTV, you can watch all of them. So they're not going anywhere. You can watch it at any time. You can catch up. You can rewatch, whatever makes you feel good. The other thing was that people are asking me, why don't I put this on Facebook? Because some of their friends aren't on Instagram. And right now, Facebook doesn't feel like a safe space for me. So I'm not going to do that. But what I did do for those of you that were asking for that was I uploaded the past 3 days, and I'll continue to do this. I uploaded it to YouTube. So if you just look up Strong and Soulful on YouTube, you should be able to find them and you can share them. I am honored that you want to share them. So yeah, thanks for all that love. I appreciate it. Ooh, which brings me right into the topic for today because all of this, the comments that I've been getting, the messages, just people reaching out and telling me how much they appreciate the videos, expressing their gratitude for the sharing makes me feel so grateful. And that's what today is all about, gratitude. So, need my water. You like my hat? Take note. This is Operation Enduring Warrior. It's a great veterans organization. Gets veterans out, active. Doesn't matter what your, what your issue is, your disability, or I don't like to call it a disability. Just, your own unique situation that you're working through. I had to put it on because, I don't know, this hair, crazy today. So let's talk about gratitude. Gratitude is just like self-care in the sense that it's become a catchphrase, right? We always hear be grateful and write a gratitude list and all of that. I love it. I love it because, anything that brings people a little bit of awareness around being intentional with their focus is good stuff. So I want to talk about gratitude in a more energetic way. And I also want to dive a little deeper than just writing a gratitude list. Because although I think that is a powerful place to start, and it's where I started, I've learned that there are other things you can do to really infuse that gratitude. And when we do that, it literally raises our energetic vibration. If someone was to measure us, they would be able to see that we shift from a lower vibration to a higher vibration. And changing vibrations or raising your vibration, it doesn't just make you feel good mentally and emotionally. It strengthens your immune system. It does all sorts of positive things. It helps to balance out different hemispheres in your brain. It changes the way your body takes in nutrients and digests them. It's really one of the keys to being holistically healthy. So I was gonna skip the reading today, but a lot of people that have been reaching out to me are in somewhat of a dark place for different circumstances, and I think that the beginning of this will resonate with them because this is one of the most difficult things that people experience when they're going through grief, loss, or just a heaviness in their life, and it's that feeling of darkness and not being able to move out of it. So I'm gonna read anyway. Gratitude. If you were to ask me what the hardest part of grieving was for me in the months following the loss of my husband, I would probably say getting out of bed in the morning. Opening my eyes meant waking up to the reality that this was my life now. The thought of getting through the day's tasks was overwhelming for me. To be completely honest, if I didn't have 3 children to tend to, I probably wouldn't have gotten up most days. Reality hurt. And of course it did. Of course it did. My entire life had been pulled right out from underneath me. We had big dreams. We had just begun our lives together. And I never planned on doing any of this alone. Where do I begin? So many people have studied and written about the grief process, and I often feel that people who have not yet experienced some type of great loss, or those who want to intellectualize this sort of pain, believe that healing is linear. And this is the furthest thing from the truth. And when we try to fit into these predetermined timelines, we actually stunt our own healing process. This breaking open that happens is a journey inside of a journey. The master journey, the big journey, is your life purpose. And this grief journey or working through trauma is any kind of loss is one that can prep you for that. So for me, it didn't begin with any great awareness. I was not in the place that I'm in now. It began with survival. And on an energetic level, when we are trying to survive, we are working from our lowest level of vibration. There are actual numbers on this. I will try to dig them up before I finish up. On a physical and psychological level, unless our basic needs are met, we can't progress. We start where we are. So for example, children who aren't fed properly in the morning, nutrition, eating is one of your basic survival needs. So children who don't get to eat in the morning and are sent off to school, they can't concentrate. And this happens in every single area of our life. That's just one simple everyday issue, unfortunately. So we start where we are. It's all we can do, the bare minimum, right? The bare minimum of tending to our needs. For me, it was getting out of bed. Forget the shower, just get up for the kids. It was that simple. It was also easier said than done. And I learned quickly that waking up when the kids woke up was not the way to start the day. I was already drained, and opening my eyes first thing in the morning to demands, requests, and chaos was debilitating. I began waking up before them to have quiet time and to start my day slowly and peacefully and watch the sunrise. So this is, you notice where I'm starting unconsciously. I mean, somewhat consciously, not knowing how deep the effects were. So that's what I mean by subconsciously or unconsciously, but there was thought put into it. But I'm beginning my day intentionally. I'm not just waking up and letting life drag me. I'm beginning my day intentionally. So it would, it also required a tremendous amount of motivation. Like I said, I would open my eyes and feel immediately overwhelmed with a desire to almost disappear. So I started digging deep for something, anything that would inspire me to face the day, anything that gave me a reason to move. And it ended up always being something that I was grateful for in the moment. So this was the beginning of my gratitude practice. And it wasn't a popular concept like it is today. And like I said, it wasn't done super intentionally. I didn't say it would be really healing to change your perspective, Denise, by choosing gratitude every morning. Nope, this was out of sheer desperation. There was for sure a certain inner wisdom that was working through me. And I found that when I began my day focused on something positive, I felt better. It was enough to get me up, get me moving. I know that a change in perception is enough to help shift stuck energy. And some days I failed. Some days I just said, fuck it, this all sucks. I want to feel bad for myself. So I did. And those were the bad days. I'm human. Other days it was easier. Often it was because someone had done something so kind that my heart literally felt like it was overflowing. And I called those moments of generosity in my life the life preservers. They were the gentle reminders that there is good in the world, no matter how dark it seems. There's still good. So that's the reading part. Okay, now, moving forward. That's where I began, just laying in bed and in my mind, finding something to be grateful for. I would sometimes think of something that happened the day before. And when I tell you, they were little things like I'm struggling food shopping with the kids all by myself, and somebody held the door for me. And it was like, oh, thank God, so grateful. And sometimes it was big things like, I don't know, I would be in a state where I really couldn't move. I would be frozen. I mean, I could give you an example of, one day I decided to empty my kitchen cabinets and clean out the kitchen, right? I don't know, this was only a couple of months after September 11th, and I don't know what made me decide to do that, but I did. Had everything out. And you know how you create this chaos and this giant mess, and now you gotta put it all back together? I couldn't do it. It literally seemed so overwhelming. I fell on the floor. I was like in a ball, crying. And that was not like me. I didn't give myself a lot of space, and we'll discuss that later on, to be emotional in that way. I wanted people to see me as strong and being okay. Called my therapist, begged her. She was not one that believed in medication or anything. And at the time, I really wasn't into it, but I felt so broken in that moment. I was like, begging her to give me anything. I didn't care what it was. I was like, I cannot live like this. I can't live like this. It's so hard. And, she was so comforting and basically told me, Denise, this is how grief works. It comes in waves. It comes in waves. And sometimes it's overwhelming, but eventually you come back up. And I'm pretty sure that my sister came and dug me out of that shitty spot too. Thank God. So those two people, my therapist, my sister, like everyone who came that helped me to get out of that crappy place, like, when I felt better, I was so grateful, so grateful. So there's a difference between just writing a gratitude list, and I think that that's a great place to start. But the important part about gratitude is actually feeling it, not just writing down, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my friends, I'm grateful for my house, I'm great, for all these things that we are grateful for every day and often take for granted. But it's taking the moment to go a little bit further. Why are you grateful for your family? What do they bring to you? Why are you grateful for the person that held the door for you when you were walking out of the supermarket? Why are you grateful that you have a roof over your head? Tapping into what those things bring into your life cements it. That's the best way I could describe it. It cements it. And then you begin to feel it. So the power of gratitude is so huge. And, listen, I'm all into science, and I'm going to back this up with science in a little bit, but you can do all the double-blind, placebo, whatever studies that you could think of. I think the magic is when you actually see it working in people. Anecdotal evidence. So when I was working with the service members that I told you about previously, it was actually an inpatient unit. This is how profound the pain was. It was acute. It was the acute stage of post-traumatic stress. So lots of people in very deep, dark places. So besides doing yoga, which we will address another day, not yoga specifically, but moving your body, I would come in with these little notebooks, and I gave them out to everybody that came, and I encouraged them to write every day at least 3 things that they were grateful for and why. And on the days that was really hard, they should write 6, because that's when you need it the most. And what I saw was the people that invested the time and the energy into the writing, and how I knew they did this was because when they would come in for yoga, I would go around our group and we would share something that we were grateful for, something that we wrote in our books that morning. And the people that invested their time in expressing gratitude, within 3 weeks, this is how quickly it worked, right? Maybe 3 weeks doesn't seem like a short period of time, but when you're in a space as deep and dark as these people were, it's not that long. But within a very short period of time, their entire outlook changed, because when you choose every day to focus on the positive, eventually it becomes a habit. And that's where your perception is, it becomes natural to look in that direction. Sometimes I feel like in America, we like to focus on our problems. We like to talk about everything that's going wrong, right? And right now, especially, that is easy to do because it is in our face. Our media loves to focus on division and negativity and everything that's wrong in our country. And I'm not saying to completely avoid that, because that's ignorant, and the only way to fix a problem is to look at it. But we want to focus on the possibilities, not on the problem, on the possibilities. And so that's where gratitude comes in. Gratitude is like a muscle. You start focusing on what is working in your life, and you will see more of that. It is not magic. It's not like, oh, let me write a gratitude list and everything's gonna be, rainbows and butterflies. Nah, it doesn't work like that. And like I said, on the days that are really shitty, you better write a really long gratitude list, because there's always something to be grateful for. And when you can't think of it, I'm telling you, it's as simple as being grateful for breathing. Like that's as easy as it gets, and as complex. Duality of life. So I want to get into this idea of how it affects our energy, because I think that this is important. I wrote down some facts for those of you who like that, that proof. So there is something called, this is going to take a few minutes to get through. I'm going to go through it really quickly and briefly, but you'll see that there is actually evidence of this. There is something called, I might not even pronounce this right, but solfeggio frequency. And these are specific tones and sounds that support your body and your mind's health. It's in music. So music, any kind of sound, has an energetic frequency. So when you see these opera singers and they crack glass, that's their energy. Crazy, right? But these things, they date back to ancient times. They're fundamental sounds. They were used in Western Christianity. If you think of Gregorian chanting, it makes you feel some kind of way, because the sounds and the vibration that they create emanate out, and you pull that in. The same thing with Sanskrit chants, that's why chanting is such a huge part of Kundalini yoga. Lots of yoga, but I like to use that example because Kundalini yoga, by the way, as a side note, great way to work through trauma. One of the most successful, and addiction. So, mental note. But in the 70s, Dr. Joseph Puleo identified 6 measurable tones that bring the body into balance. And then in 1988, another biochemist, Dr. Glenn Rain, exposed similar DNA vials to 4 different kinds of music. So he exposed them to the Gregorian chanting, the Sanskrit chanting, classical music, and rock. And then he measured how UV light was absorbed, because healthy DNA will absorb larger amounts of this UV light. It's very healing. That's why people are using all this light therapy. And the ones that were exposed to the chanting absorbed up to from 5 to 9% more light. So how do we express this with gratitude? Well, there's something else called Schumann resonance, and this was in 1952, a German physicist documented electromagnetic resonance existing between the surface of the earth and then the electrically charged atmosphere. And they call it the Earth's heartbeat. That's like at between 7 and 8 hertz. That's what it was measured at. And then another scientist, Herbert Koenig, matched various levels of brain activity through an EEG also to the Earth's atmosphere. And it matched on 5 different levels. So you've probably heard like brain waves: delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma. And then MIT did another study that involved measuring vibrations, and they measured the vibrations of red blood cells, and there was a direct correlation to the frequency at which the red blood cells were vibrating and how healthy the cells were. And for people that think this is still pseudoscience, even the Air Force Research Lab is studying electromagnetic energy in fighting coronavirus. So, viruses vibrate at a really low level. And if you want to keep your immune system or keep yourself a little bit more protected from coronavirus, keep your vibration up. And let me see if I could dig this up quick, because I know we don't have a lot of time. This is getting long, but I really do want to show you or tell you the difference in some of our emotions and their vibrational level. So let's see if I could dig it up quick. Emotional, I don't even know what to look under, but let's see. So you're gonna have some homework with this, and you're gonna like it, because this is a really good one, and it's super easy. Okay, so all right, this is just one little. Let me see if I can make it bigger, because I'm blind as hell. This is just one little example. And you will see the difference. And this is from, actually from Dr. David Hawkins. You can look it up, Power versus Force, the Hidden Determinants of Human Behavior. But shame, which we know is so heavy, right? If you feel shameful about anything, it is like you want to crawl under a rock and just stay there, right? That's how heavy it is. The vibrational level is at a 20. That's how contracted you are. That's how stuck your energy is. It's almost like syrupy, right? And then love is 500. 500. That's a huge difference. Courage, 200. So gratitude, I don't have the actual number here. Grief is 75. Guilt is 30. Acceptance is 350. Joy is 540. And 540 is, I think the number, 528 is supposedly 528 hertz is supposedly the vibration of love, and has something to do with sacred geometry and all this other stuff. But this one's a little bit more scientific, and I'm not sure how they do this measuring. But yeah, so when you dive deep into gratitude, you take a few minutes a day to express your gratitude and why you're so grateful for it, it literally lifts your vibration. And, viruses, they vibrate at the lowest level. This is interesting stuff to look at. So yeah, right now, when we're being bombarded with so much negativity or, so much division, looking at people like they're so different from us, and the politics that are surrounding all of it, it really drops us down. We have to consciously keep that energy up. So we can do that through gratitude. If you really want to make your gratitude explode, share it with somebody. I did this in my yoga teacher training. We were asked to do it regularly. Think of something you were grateful for, and then go talk to one of the other women that was training with us, and we would share our gratitude, and they would do the same. And hearing someone else be so joyful about something makes you feel good. Our energies literally interact. We have an energetic field, and when you're standing close to someone, they enmesh. So when you make yourself feel good, you make everyone around you feel good. When you raise your vibration, you raise the vibration of your environment. How incredible is that? You're like magic. So your homework is, should you choose to take it on, is to, you don't even have to write it down if that's too time consuming, but take time first thing in the morning when you open your eyes to be grateful, to find things that you're grateful for before you even get out of bed. Keep a notebook next to your bed. If you want to write it down, put it in your phone, or just think about it. Just think about it. Let it fill you. Feel it. Feel what, don't just come up with a thought of what makes you feel good, but experience the energy that it brings to you, the joy that it fills you up with. You know that feeling like your heart's gonna explode? It's so filled. I love that. Literally chase that feeling every day. So I encourage you to do that and share with me how it feels. Share what makes you joyful with me. Let's all share our gratitude. You can put it in the comments. You can DM me, whatever makes you feel even more grateful. And I want to express my deepest, heartfelt, overflowing, bubbly gratitude to all of you, because I will get to this at the end of the 11 days, but you have no idea of the impact that your words and your presence are having on me. It's, I don't know what the word is, but it's something really, really freaking good. All right. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.